I'm using the word
This meeting is being recorded.
Hey folks, welcome to technically the June GitHub admin meeting that got punted to July because of conflicts and holidays. These meetings are recorded, we post it to YouTube sometime later. We abide by the CNCF code of conduct, which essentially boils down to please be excellent to each other. With that, we have, I dropped a link to the notes, so if you could toss your name on there in the attendees, and if anyone would like to volunteer as a note taker, that would be super awesome. But in the meantime, we have one immediate thing on the agenda. Do you want to take it away?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Actually, Priyanka and myself wanted to ask if there is any possibility to have GitHub action to automatically update the project beta, because we are trying to move from the spreadsheet in the release team, because this is horrible, and trying to using the project beta, which is we have a trial for manually updating it, and it was great, way better than spreadsheets. So I had a conversation related to that, and the conversation and the issue was like, okay, how about instead having the GitHub action, we can have Pro extension. It's like, and I'm okay with that, and I think Priyanka is working actually to have this, but we would love, if we can for now, have this GitHub action, because it would be a great help. I dropped the draft PR I had a few months ago, actually, or at least 1 month ago, open. If we can have this happen for the bug triage and for the enhancement, that would be a great help for the release team. Priyanka, if you have anything to add, please.
Yeah, so just to add some context there is, what we want to do is maybe have the boards first start manually adding data. But since there is support for GitHub action workflows already from GitHub to fill input data into the GitHub project beta board, I want to start with that. And I have read the suggestions on the issue where they're like pointing towards adding a plugin to input data. So we'll start working on that. But since it's a requirement from last couple of release cycles, wanted to have the board at least somewhat usable by the teams by the next release cycle. So that's the idea. Like, we want to start with using GitHub action workflows right away, if that's a possibility, while we work on the Prow plugin.
So I would need to look at the PR. I am doing okay with this, but we might actually not need to, because GitHub is adding this. Well,
can you say?
Stop recording.
Let's celebrate, please, Bob.
Okay. I will give a thumbs up, and we can continue to discuss this later. How does that sound?
Wonderful.
Okay, I'm okay. Not celebrating right now, but if we can just move this forward to have this happen during the release, because I know that the bug triage, for example, it will come really crazy by the end of the release. You know it. I'm updating manually, it's not fun at all.
I need to dig through my email.
Okay.
But I hopefully very soon.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so if it's not like that soon, we can have like thumbs up for the GitHub action for now. This is like like second plan or plan B, right? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Arno?
Yeah, I have a question. If this means that any fork of this repo gonna get that workflow triggered, if we merge that pull request?
Only the project number that already in the GitHub action. So only one project in the organization, or like in Kubernetes repo, actually, I think in organization, not Kubernetes repo, will get updated, not anything else.
Okay, so if I have a fork and I have basically a pull request open against that fork, is that workflow gonna be triggered because it's merged on master of the fork, on the master branch of the fork?
I think there is a settings in GitHub action that prevent that. So there is a settings that can prevent running the GitHub actions in forks, only in the main branch or in the main organization. We can check this for sure. We can have this as prerequisite for like running. I think we have another GitHub action running in Kubernetes maybe, but we can check this for sure.
Okay.
But there is a setting somewhere in GitHub, yeah, to turn this out.
So just out of curiosity, like we have never set enabled actions on the KK repo. So doing this would set precedent. Like I'm sure like this would be useful for you. I'm just putting the GitHub admin hat on. So if we allow actions right now, if someone else comes up that they want to allow actions, like they want to have some sort of actions-based automation, do we allow it? That's one question. The other one would be, what are the blockers for the PROW approach and how much time do you think would be needed to implement that?
I can answer that. Well, I was to start it sometime after enhancement freeze, and which never happened because of things going on at work. And so, and now the code freeze is coming like in a week or week and a half. So I am not looking at finishing that plugin work anytime during this cycle. But yes, starting definitely during the cycle, maybe like in a week or two. I would be able to commit to a time after that. Like as I start, I'll raise a issue maybe, or maybe a work in progress PR where I can track the progress. But yeah, right now I can't commit like when I'll be I would be able to finish it, but I will be starting it during this cycle. That's something, and that's something like I would need to finish it as well, so I can commit to that. Yeah, however much it takes.
But I'll let Nabaran go next. Just one thing is like, if we can create an issue for it and have like put a help wanted label on it that you can mentor someone. If you don't have the bandwidth, we can have someone else work on it. I would really prefer to do this in PROW, because doing it in actions just opens up a whole other kind of worms that I'm not sure we want to open right now.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just want to add one thing. So there is already, I think, a plugin that was mentioned on the issue. It was something, a transfer plugin. And I had looked in, there's already another plugin to PROW, which feeds data into a GitHub project board, but the older one. So I'm going to look at both of those plugins, since both one of them was mentioned on the issue and one is related to GitHub project board right away. And then I'd be able to maybe say something concrete, like how much work we need to do to actually create this plugin to feed data into the GitHub project beta. Is it going to be like some duplication of a already existing plugin and not much work, or something like that's going to be done from scratch. So yeah, I'll start a issue, and based on whatever is the requirement, I can take some help here.
I have a question. Why exactly do we need a Prow plugin? Because as I see right now, it's a set of scripts that we run, or it's a script that we run, and we can run it as a plain simple Prow job. Yes, that's what Bob commented. So we don't really need to write an extension to Prow, which is a plugin. Like we just need a Prow job, which has access to that project board via a token. And I think we can run the same GraphQL queries to do what you're doing in the GitHub action.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, and that would be easy. Yeah. So
yeah, actually, I kept asking why we need the Prow for that, because like we don't need to like to add any information to the issue. We just need to filter like the issue with the tag and just add it to the project. So if we can have a job for that, just like update the release tag, and that's it, that would work. Would be amazing, of course. I'm not sure how like how I can help in that, but like Priyanka and myself, we wanted to help in any ways to make this happen.
For sure, like there's like better documentation on writing a Prow job rather than a Prow plugin. So you'll find like better avenues to finish that thing. So there is one other thing that I wanted to ask. I see like first step in the action pipeline to be some kind of token delegation where we generate a token from GitHub app IDs. So not something that is answerable in the call, but probably something that we should note for future is what are the security implications of having that thing?
We can basically reuse the existing GitHub secret we have right now, because there are a few secrets coming from different bots. There are a few tokens coming from some GitHub bots we can reuse, and they are already set up in the trusted pro cluster.
That would be amazing. Bob, you're on mute.
Yeah.
Sorry, dueling mute buttons. We have some other jobs that are similar, so should hopefully just be able to, copy, paste, replace with the GitHub. Honestly, almost, yeah, I think you can copy most of what you have in the run commands in here. So it should be pretty similar, and hopefully just copy paste with a little bit of changing a little bit of the YAML.
I just want to call it out right now, since it's more of an enhancement sub project thing. But Bob, since you're here, I would need some help on, since we maintain multiple sheets, like a separate sheet for every release cycle. So I would want to understand how we can replicate that in a GitHub project beta. But just wanted to mention that since we are moving that discussion to Async. Yeah.
On
I
the
would
plus
need
side,
help there.
yeah. On the plus side, if it is at least if GitHub can't do this themselves quite yet, it should be fairly copy and paste, what you have here to do it on enhancements as well. And it'd just be for the Prow, it'd be changing it to K enhancements versus KK.
Good. I'll look at the job. We'll start with the job itself. Thank you.
On that note, I had a small question. Who is to be requested for creating a project board? I feel it is us.
Anyone can. It's all. If you're an org member, you can create one.
Oh. Okay. I mean, does anyone need to create an issue then?
For project board creation?
Yeah.
No, you basically can create any board, even the beta, even the new project board. You don't need a specific permission. You just need to be org member. I think that's the future of the GitHub organization.
That's great.
And on the boards, you can actually refine like which groups, GitHub teams have rights for specific things. But in general, it's more like anyone can create the boards and do the stuff.
Yeah, you can create the project, but no one can, like update this project or contribute to this project except the, like the list, the permission list you're adding. So creating a project itself, it shouldn't be a big issue because, and like anyone can have access to read the project, but you cannot update the project until you have this permission access.
And I'm guessing we haven't yet automated the permissions bit for projects, or did we?
Not that I know of. I don't think we've done any other project board automation in this space. But it's also been kind of like a wait and see because the old project boards are no longer like, the project boards have essentially been under active development for a few years now. I can explain more later. But there hasn't been a lot of interest in working on something that was going to go away.
What was going away? Sorry.
The old project boards and
Okay.
everything surrounding
all
them.
the gunk with it. Yeah, got it.
So we can have like we can summarize that we will do a pro job instead of plugin, right? And we will see if we have something to update, or we can like add new run, right? Okay, thank you.
One thing outside of the proud job, the proud job will probably be the quickest way to get it done, but I would also poke Omer and just see like if this thing is around the corner, like, we could get early access to it like next week, then that might solve a lot of other issues.
I can ping him. I already have, like, I chatted with him before during the same issue. So we will just continue the conversation. Okay, I can do that today.
Beyond that, any other? Let's see there. Oh, Nikita, you have one item on here.
Yeah, I think Abhinav had one. Mine was just like this one point that like the new membership coordinator applications close tomorrow, and then the next week the GitHub admin team will be reviewing those applications, and we'll send out the results next Friday, which is the 15th.
And I apologize, I skipped over. You're having it, Abhinav, you're having an issue?
Yeah, actually, it's my first time attending this meeting, so please, if this is not the right place to ask this, please do let me know about it as well. And the actual issue over here is that during my LFX project, we had to create an automated sort of a bot or an action. At that point, it was feasible for us to create a bot. So within that bot, we actually also had a GitHub action script, for which we needed write permissions for the pull requests as well as the content. But for some reason, despite providing all the permissions as necessary, and even after checking the permissions in the GitHub repository settings, the GitHub token was not getting write permissions at all. So the links I've provided, the first link actually shows the run, which is failing. And you can see the job setup over there in the GitHub token permissions. There is only read permissions for each and every section. And the pull request that is related to that job is mentioning that we need all the permissions, all the write permissions for each and every of those actions. But despite that, we could not get through that. And the actual task that we had to do here, it was to create a reference. So even that, the actual error mentions that the resource is not accessible through integration. So I'm not sure like how to go about that. If any of you could help me with this. Most probably it might be an enterprise level restriction from what I could understand after Googling a bit, but I really have no clue about what's getting wrong here. So please.
Go ahead, Nabal.
Similar questions as like, can we move it to a proud job since it requires some level of trust to be put on? Because I see like you're trying to create a reference, maybe a tag or something. So, I mean, in the past, like we have been a little cautious about like what we run in GitHub Actions because no control of security there or the workload types.
So what we had initially planned was there are 2 jobs in this action itself actually, but right now we are not able to implement that within Prow because of some changes that are apparently underway. We are going to change the like instance. We actually are trying to get a CNCF hosted instance for this, like wherever our like services, and we also need new credentials for that. We actually publish AMIs, and for publishing those AMIs, we would need credentials hosted on those instances, which is currently not the case. And that I think would require some more steps to be taken care of. But as of now, we are trying to get this working with the GitHub Actions itself. The Prow stage is still yet to come, and the rest of the team is actually working on that as of now.
Why we can do that with Pro? Because my understanding is you basically trigger different Packer jobs using GitHub Action. Why we can do that with Pro?
I think the main reason, as mentioned by the team, since the actual maintainers did not prefer using Prow for this thing, at least as of now, and according to the design logs, because they were trying to change some, like they were actually first focusing on getting the credentials inbuilt for the new instances, the AWS instances, apparently. I'm not entirely sure. I was pretty new to this project at that point. But yeah, if is it in any case like possible with GitHub Actions as of now, just to see how the things are going, because this is still in the proposal phase.
I think we might need some more info to understand why Prow is not working and what exact requirements there would be from the action space. Can you like maybe get an issue created in the Kubernetes/org repo, and then we can discuss more there. just to also like have it all written down and on the record. Is that not stuck
Yeah.
for me, or is it me?
No?
I'm sorry, my network actually dropped for a while. Sorry about that. Yeah. Yeah, Nikita, I
Yeah.
think you were saying something. I'm sorry, I
Yeah,
missed out on that.
No worries. I was just saying that it would be helpful to create an issue in the Kubernetes/org repo with more details on why Prow was not like what problems Prow was causing, or what problems we had like for using Prow, and then what are the exact permissions you'd need in the action scenario, and then we can discuss more there.
I see. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So even in the next meeting, I think we can also bring up this issue with the maintenance over here, right? So on the issues, like I can also pop up an issue on the repository itself, and we can further either discuss that over there. But if the rest of the team is like involved in other stuff, because there are some changes going on, some major updates going on in the repository itself. If they're not able to handle it over there, then we can, I guess, also bring up this issue in the next meeting, right?
Yeah, so we have monthly meetings. We'll have to wait for like another month. So I'd prefer if we do this synchronously, and that'd be more faster.
Oh,
So
okay.
we definitely prefer the issue approach. But
All
yes,
right,
like we
all
can,
right.
yeah.
All right. Yeah, thanks for that.
Arnav?
Just wanted to give more concrete action about this. I think like you want to report to Cluster API about what we say in this meeting, that they should try to do that with Pro and basically tell us what are the limitations using Pro, because in Pro we have GitHub credential we can use, or we can add more GitHub credential for GitHub API interaction. So I think the one thing you will have to do is basically go talk to the cluster lifecycle SIG chair about this. We can try to coordinate the onboarding on Pro.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that'll be my next step. Yeah.
Okay. Also, one thing, do we have a policy writing? That's a general question for the meeting. Do we have a policy writing for GitHub Action? Because I never found one, and every time someone come up with an issue with GitHub Action, we don't have a clear response about this, or not a written one.
That's a good point. We don't have one. We should create one.
When's your report about this?
Looks like there are no more topics. Should we wrap up?
Yeah, there's a steering meeting.
Okay.
I need to jump to. Hi, y'all.
Nice talking to
I'm
you. Bye.
Thank you,
Okay.
everyone. Bye.
One